Good evening, and welcome to the Cincinnati Kids Vintage Baseball Card channel. It is Tuesday, November 28th, and tonight I'm going to share a few things, a little more about myself as a collector, and a little bit more of a dedication or throw out, or I guess call out video response. I'm not sure what the nomenclature is. Highlight a channel I really like and inspired by to do this video about. So no further ado, right here I've got a little 60 Topps action happening there for you in the backdrop. So my first video, I had 16 total viewers. I want to thank you tremendously for watching my first video. Behind you on top of this, you see a bell curve that describes a little bit more about the type of collector I am, about the type of amount of cards I have. The very top of the curve is going to be 1960s Topps. There's going to be a little bit more 70s and 80s mix over here. Going to have some 50s in here, not as much. And down here is where my oldest card is. Oldest card in my collection, 1941 Play Ball. Bucky Walters. That is my oldest card. Pitcher for the Reds. A couple of World Series teams. And this is one of the very first cards that I collected as a kid. Came out of a Kellogg's Cornflakes box, I'm sure. Carl Yastrzemski, 1980 3D Superstars. I'd say it's probably a very good 4. It sat in a box for a long time without any protection, and just a neat card. This is the only card I have of Nolan Ryan. More on that in another episode. So the main thing tonight I wanted to share with everyone is a channel I've started watching that I really like by Rick Acosta. So a shout out to him and his Vintage Dodger card channel. I really like watching his channel, and recently he just did a couple of videos showing his entire room, all his displays and all of his art memorabilia and such. I thought that was really neat. And he inspired me to pull out some of my favorite vintage Dodger cards to share. So these are all from the 50s and 60s. It's my pleasure to share them with you now, and I'll go through them. Starting with this card. 1955 Topps Johnny Padres. This was actually my first card I purchased off of eBay, 20 plus years ago, when I first started collecting vintage baseball cards. I collected for a little while and then got to the point where it became very tough to try to afford to buy cards, so I was out of the hobby for, as far as getting new cards, for quite a while. But this was probably a 2001, 2002 purchase off of eBay, probably. This card's significant to me because this was the year that John Joseph Padres pitched a shutout in Game 7 of the 1955 World Series, and the Bombs won their first World Series over the mighty Yankees. So a little secret here, had I been a kid growing up in the 40s and 50s in Brooklyn, I would have been a for sure. New York, I was been sure a Brooklyn Dodgers fan, no question. So 55, Topps Johnny Padres. Here's the end of the run. The left hand of God, 66 Topps Sandy Koufax. This card is an interesting story too of how I acquired it. I was on my way back from a vacation somewhere on the East Coast. I think it was Nags Head, North Carolina, perhaps. Family vacation, and we stopped overnight in Charleston, West Virginia, and went to the mall there. And out in the middle of the display was a guy with a display, a bunch of vintage cards he had for sale. And I saw this Koufax card, and I wanted a Sandy Koufax card really bad, and it was really off-centered, but the price wasn't bad. This would have been circa 2003, maybe. I just remember that mall felt a little rough and unruly. People were pretty loud in there, and probably just having a good time, but it kind of made me thankful to get back home and be back on the road the next day. And this card, well, is a forever one in my collection. Sanford Koufax. Pee Wee Reese. His last card, last playing days card. It's a little off-centered. This probably will keep me from not getting this graded, but it'll live on in this nice sleeve. Someday I'll build a display case like Dylan's, or have someone build it for me. And this will be one of the ones I'll be proud to have up there on display. I like the batting pose here, the yellow background is just 58 Topps is one of my favorite sets. I say that about every set from this era, but really like that card. This card I showed in my first video. This is was a recent pickup from my local card store. Don Drysdale. LA Days. Tommy Davis. You put on quite the show. Look here. Two-time batting titleist in the NL, 62 and 63. I think is that 62 season. Looks like he had 27 home runs and drove in 150 runs, batting .346. It's kind of like an MVP kind of year. I don't think he was the MVP that year. Maybe. I don't know. Someone might be able to tell me in the comments below. Now we're getting some graded cards. Share those. I apologize, I didn't take off the wrapper. Maybe kind of hard to see. Let me do that real fast. Roy Campanella. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. I think that's Yogi Berra at the plate trying to protect it and tag him out. And I think that's Campy sliding in there. Roy Campanella. The 51 Bowman Duke Snyder. To me, this is just art. It's pure, beautiful art. Sparse crowd in the back, all the green, the seats, the grass, the wall. I'm looking in the dugout there. And then that crisp blue hat, white Dodger uniform. And some guy here. Just hanging out. Maybe he's a scout. People certainly dressed better going to games back then. Duke Snider. Here's Gil Hodges. This was a pickup from late last year. I bought the card raw off of eBay. The guy was really super nice. He sent me some extra cards. You can see them right here. I use them to load cards in the top loaders actually. So, gee, it's probably not the nicest thing to do with them, but so I decided on a whim I'll just send it in to SGC, see what it'll come back as. And I got it back a month or two ago as a 5. Gil Hodges from Princeton, Indiana. He was even or ahead of Babe Ruth's record pace for home runs in 51 season until a late season slump kept that record safe for another 10 years. It's just a beautiful shot, beautiful pose. I love these art cards like this. This was a summer pickup. I wasn't able to get to the National, so I let the National come to me and I bought a few cards at the same time off of eBay. And the gentleman that sold me this sent me a little message. I really like this card. You see right here, I think this is what's making it a 3. This little sort of bump or smudge, a little bit of rough edge too, but it doesn't come into the card. It's just in the border. It's not on the actual part of the card, and it, to me, makes this look like a card. It's presents much better in its grade. I keep hearing all you guys out there, all you content creators in the vintage card world, buy the card, not the grade. Well, that's what I try to do with this one. All the cartoons and all the stuff on the back. For Harold Henry Reese, Brooklyn Dodgers. So the gentleman sent me, give him props here, his eBay channel is Uncle Charlie's. So Uncle Charlie sent me a note, read, "Thanks for your order. This card has been in my private collection for 40 plus years. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks, Uncle C." Well, Uncle C, I will never sell this card. It will survive me, and my wife or whomever is my heirs that are left will decide what to do with it at that point. Conspicuously missing, unfortunately, is no Jackie Robinson here. I do not own a Jackie Robinson card. I apologize for that. I just missed the ball on that one, and his cards keep going up and up and up, and I might have missed the train on that one, missed the party. It's unfortunate. I was concentrating on the other players, but I would be remiss to show one more card for Rick. This is based on the definition of a Grail card, this is the only Grail card I own. Maybe the only Grail card I will ever own. But it may drop below the $500 mark in the recent way the prices have dropped, but this card needs no introduction, needs no comment. Well, that wraps it up for this episode. I will return with another one. I'm thinking about doing, maybe it's not too late, hitting up John Wade Boggs fan with a VR on what's the one card I could not go on without, or could not live without in my collection. Appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Until next time.